Call to order. The City Council work session for City of East Grand Forks for Tuesday, May 14th is now 5 o'clock. City Clerk, please call roll.
Mayor Steve Gander.
Here.
Council President Mark Olstead.
Here.
Council Vice President Chad Grassel.
Here.
Council Members Clarence Vetter.
Here.
Dale Helms.
Here.
Tim Riepel.
Here.
Tim Johnson. Mark Demers.
Present.
Says term quorum. Number 1, consider awarding this annual sewer cleaning and televising. Mr. Stordahl.
Thank you, Mr. President. The city elected in 2011 to put in place a preventative maintenance program by which the city would clean 1/5 of the sanitary sewer of the city each year. This year, we will be cleaning the southeast end of town west of Bigland Road and other troubled areas that we typically do annually. So we would like to televise as well this year. We haven't televised for quite a few years now. We requested proposals from 3 different companies. We got 2 proposals back, Johnson Jetline and Vite. Both of them we've used in the past. Have done a pretty good job. I'm recommending that we go with Johnson Jetline. Their price actually for the sewer cleaning hasn't changed at all since last year. It's still 71 cents a foot. And they've done a really good job for us. They also have a panoramic camera that we've used on small areas where we've had to televise, where we figure break or whatever is, and it's pretty nice. You get a 360 view of everything, and then when you get to a manhole, you can see up the manholes and even up in service lines in some cases a little ways. So they do a pretty good job. We've been pretty happy with them. So,
Do we have any questions? See none, sir. Thank you so much. Number 2, request to approve 2019 update to CAT Title LEP plan.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an every 3-year plan. In order for us to receive federal transit assistance, we have to make sure that we're not discriminating in our transit service based on race, color, and natural origin. There are 5 things that we have to meet. One is that we put out a notice to the public stating that we're in compliance with the Title VI plan. We have to provide complaint procedures. We also have to list any investigations, complaints. We have none. We haven't had any in the last 3 years. We have to provide outreach efforts for those who need assistance, and then we have a limited English proficiency plan. The plan has been updated. There is no new regulations or anything that would need to be updated. It's a very similar plan to Grand Forks because they provide our service. So I'm just asking that we approve the update.
Anybody have any questions for Nancy? See none, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Number 3, discussion on community festival event status. Megan.
The RCA included, just kind of gives a brief background. I was contacted by one of the members of the Heritage Foundation. They had some questions about the somebody's catering license and the requirements if they went with someone with a catering license instead of using one of the clubs like they have in the past. Just for clarification, I reached out to our inspector, and if we declare Heritage Days as a community festival, the Heritage Foundation could then, because they're trying to use different businesses instead of always just going to the clubs, they could go to a different business that has a liquor license in town. They would not then they wouldn't have to have a catering license based on the statute. They would just have to make sure they have insurance for covering liability during the event. This would actually also help out the clubs, because the clubs are allowed 3 temporary liquor licenses in a year, and this would not count against once their temporary liquor license if they chose to use a club instead of somebody with just a full on-sale license. So I guess I just need direction from the council. And again, it would also be up to the business, because it would be an additional cost to them to make sure that they had coverage off premises, unless they already have a catering license in place, which the business that they're asking about does. So that's already taken care of. So I guess I just need direction from the council, and I would prepare a resolution declaring it as a community festival. And then we could do this each year, and then they can let me know who they want to use, and we can put the name of the business in the resolution.
Any other questions? Mr. Demers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I didn't have a chance to look up the actual statute, but community festival sounds like there's a definition to it. I'm just wondering, is there strings that go along with it becoming a community festival? Was it intended, like, if the city is doing a 125th and it's a city organized event, it's considered a community festival? And then if this is, are we just going to allow any event to be a community festival in East Grand Forks?
So, looking at these, like in these statutes, I did not come across the definition for community festival. Typically, I would say the 125th, yes, something that the city sponsors, or, you know, something that the city can get behind. I'm thinking, and I know I talked to President Olsted about this a little bit too, the Heritage Foundation, you know, they are a nonprofit. They try and do a lot within the city and promote the city and hold this event every year and try and draw people to our community. You know, and that's, if you don't want to do it this time, we don't have to, or if we want to set stipulations such as it has to be a nonprofit, you know, if it's not a city-run event, it would be a nonprofit recognized within the city and that the city supports the event that takes place.
And I'm not trying to get to know them, just want to make sure that we're getting, because what happens, so say the downtown business group or something comes in and says, we're going to do a street dance on Demers, and it's the downtown business group is nonprofit. You know, is every one of these going to be, that's what I just want to make sure that we don't.
No, absolutely.
Because it seems like it's a good fit for right now, understanding that we have to make sure that we're making decisions for a lot of different things, so.
No, absolutely. And at this time, like I said, the business that they're looking at already has a catering license in place. If this is something you guys want to, you know, set standards for, so it's not opening up a can of worms, I completely understand that. And then the business that they would be using will just need to have food at the event with them. So if you guys, it's just totally up to you. I just would like direction. They're just trying to get things in place so it's all ready to go by the time August rolls around.
Right, and I guess the other thing is just so we don't, if groups end up wanting to use this, I don't know if Ron wants to look deeper into what the actual definition is, because sometimes when you say, well, it's going to be a community thing, you have to have it be free of charge, or you have to be in, you know, I don't want the Heritage to go, well, we sell these buttons and now we can't sell them or whatever, so.
No, I totally understand.
So let's just make sure we look up and make sure that that would fit into what an actual, or what the intention of what a community event is intended to be.
Mr. Gossa.
So if we went with this, would every group have to come to us and ask?
Yes, like.
So then, I mean, like, the Heritage Foundation is a group that has been going forever and ever. If all of a sudden we decide, whatever, some other group says we need to do this, we can take this on as a as need?
Yeah, case-by-case basis, yeah.
There.
And I do agree, you know, step one, it'd be great to approve this one because it is a good fit. Intuitively, we know it's a good fit. But I also agree with Mr. Demers that we could lay the parameters even by next meeting where we approve it to what are the criteria of what is a community event. We may have a definition in statute. There may be a definition by ordinance, and maybe we could find it just so that we would have we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we get a request. Should we do this one or not? Does it fit the parameters or not? It would be convenient to go ahead and set those once and maybe carry those on then each time.
As Megan said, that her and I did speak about this earlier when the agenda came out, and the questions that you did ask Mr. Demers is what constitutes this and who can come and ask for this and how are we going to handle it, and are we looking at opening this up to everyone? I think I understand why we are looking at this for the Heritage Foundation and Heritage Days and what they do. It's multiple day event that they do bring. You know, it runs from Thursday through Sunday usually with the parade and, you know, activities. So totally behind it, totally understand it. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't going to open it up and have people come run into us and say, well, you did this, well, can we do this? And just wanted to make sure that we're not getting to that point where if we don't allow somebody to do it, they're saying, well, you're not pro-business. Well, yeah, pro-activities, yeah, we are, but this is something that's actually, been around for, how many years is it going to be this year?
I think this is going to be like about the 37th or 8th, maybe 9th even, I don't know,
Yeah.
a long time.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Gulsted?
I'll look up and see if there's any case law on what's considered a community festival. I've got the statute on my phone right here, and it just basically says a governing body of a municipality may authorize the holder of a retail on-sale liquor license to basically do that at a community festival. And there isn't a definition of a community festival. It might come in in some type of a case law, but it doesn't show up in the statute itself. And so it may be whether or not the city's also a sponsor, depending upon the circumstances. So I'll look that up, Mr. Demers, but that's what the statute says right now.
Mr. Revo?
Just as you're looking it up, can you check to make sure? I realize that they've got a liability policy, but does it open the city to a legal liability over and above that?
I can look at
Called a
that.
community festival.
It basically just says if the city's going to do that, then they have to provide, then the business has to get their own liability, and then it refers you to the statute and for the insurance that's required. And then I did look at the statute, and it just basically gives you the different coverages that you need.
Mr. Helms?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think that this year, if I'm not mistaken, Megan, I don't know if somebody approached you on this, or did you just?
Terry had some questions on it.
Okay, because I'm thinking that they're just talking about Friday night deal, right?
Yes.
So it's not going to be the whole weekend. It's just Friday night at our car show and dance is when they do the alcohol. So it's a 4-day weekend, but it's just the Friday night deal. And we've done it the last couple of years, but I think we've went out and got the the vendors or whoever to come in and so we don't have a liquor license and we don't have to deal with that. So we just have them come and do it. We make nothing on it. It's just and actually our bylaws at the Heritage actually states that there's no liquor on the grounds, but we've changed it for this one evening. So normally there is no liquor out there, but it's been changed for this one evening for the car show and the dance. And the reason for it was to hopefully to draw in more people. And I think frankly, I'd have to say that it probably hasn't worked that well. but I think they do okay there that night, but it's just for Friday night. So cold last year. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? I think Mr. Gulsted has some direction on what he needs to provide.
Thank you.
Megan, do you have any other questions, ma'am?
Nope, not at this time.
Mr. Murphy?
No, can I make 2 quick announcements before we close?
Yes.
Okay. If we're done with this agenda. Okay. Just 2 things. I see Miss Allen is in the audience here tonight with the Grand Forks Herald. She did contact me today. It sounds like they're going to be doing an article on the idea of the bike share program. This has been brought up previously, but I believe it was before the election the last time. So I think we might have 2 new council members on here from when this was discussed the last time. Grand Forks is looking at that again. They have invited us as staff. Reed, I believe we met with them twice now as staff to see what they're looking at and what that might mean to East Grand Forks, what it might potentially cost to us, potentially maybe where the bike docks could be. Still fairly preliminary yet on our aspect of it, which is why we haven't brought it to the council yet. We do have it on the radar for bringing back to a work session when we have more definite information. But just wanted the council to be aware that this is back on the agenda. I know Grand Forks is looking at it, and so it sounds like it'll be in the paper. And then the other item is I had just been made aware that there could be some rumors or misinformation about the potential street assessment policy in redoing that. So I'm going to see if I can get some info on the Facebook and on our website and that just to maybe calm some of those rumors. So that's all I have.
Yeah, one small item, if I could. Don't go on Facebook and look at that fish. No. Today we had a gathering for Peace Officers Memorial Day, and it's one of the most moving things that you can do is to pay tribute to fallen peace officers. They come from all jurisdictions, national, state, county, local, UND, military, police, and represented from Canada as well. And the way that they pay tribute to these fallen peace officers is remarkable. And it's a great time to just stop and appreciate the safety that we enjoy as a product of the work of our police officers. Today, again, is Peace Officers Memorial Day, and by federal and presidential proclamation, this whole week is Police Officers Week. So if you have occasion to thank a police officer for what they do, and certainly to remember the fallen officers and their families, this would be a good time to do it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Repel.
Second.
Second by Helms. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned.